Okay, so I'm making a response to the video about hostility of Mexican guys towards black guys. What I want to make note of is that um, he's right to a certain extent. Yeah, there is a competition going on, but there's always been a competition. I mean, literally, what man is not going to come and give you a competition for area, space, money, time, energy? Okay, you have a bunch of black guys. We're being a bunch of lazy asses out here that are not willing to get on board, are not trying to crack down. They are not trying to do the things that they could do to really take over the scene. And then you have these Mexican guys who come basically, if you've ever been in Mexico, a large majority of the people that do immigrate over here are not the rich people. They're the people that, had to scuffle to get what they got, or their parents scuffled to bring them over here, and now they're trying to produce, and they have to build an environment. They have to work extra hard. They're not really able to run after a dream. They kind of have to just do the lowly jobs to build, you know, to build onto. They don't have the time that we have, or the energy, or the effort that we've been given over so many generations because we've suffered through slavery. So I understand both sides. I understand the side that, you know, um, black people, which a lot of Mexican people don't realize, is that we had to suffer so much to get to the point that we're at. So, I mean, it's only natural that a lot of black people feel like, well, you have to come through the channel, like we did. But in reality, they don't. They don't have to come through any channel. There is no order. What we went through was unnecessary, and that's the whole thing that we should be telling ourselves. And yet we're still holding on to that. I think we should make it prevalent in today's society. Everybody should know, hey, we deserve what's going on because of or we deserve some type of restitution for what happened. Of course, we all know better that that's probably never going to happen unless we basically take over the entire government and make it forcibly. Okay, so what you're feeling is the competition. They're supposed to compete for you for time, resources. What other person wouldn't? So, I mean, it's not like a thing. The only problem is, I'm going to explain to you like this. Black people have been taught to look up to white people. So, when you look at a Mexican, you don't think of him as really being your competition. You see what I mean? You look at him more like, hey, we're on the same level. Like, there should be some kind of camaraderie. And that's something that I think that a lot of Mexican people don't get. That they actually, if they really just extended their hand a lot more, they would have a friend in black people, an ally, you know, that could show them things through the system. But in their minds, I get what they don't, what they see. They see a lot of black, because I lived in Bakersfield, California, so I know. I lived there for like 3 years, so I know what's going on. I watched it like clockwork. The black people that were on Martin Luther King Boulevard or in the park, they would sit out there all day. The same black, I mean, healthy young men, uh, wouldn't get up, wouldn't go to work. I mean, they couldn't be working because I was at work, and I was driving past them every day. So I know if I'm taking deliveries and I'm passing you every single day and you don't get up and you don't do anything, imagine the way it plays on the mind of somebody who's looking at you that is struggling. They don't understand it. I mean, these people are out here working from 6 in the morning to like 12 at night trying to make a living, and they're looking at you just sitting there. That's a bad imagery. I mean, African American men have to begin to think about the imagery that they give off, you know? I mean, they give off a really bad imagery. I mean, we have these rappers that are out here showing you this thug life and thug limit crap. Then you have the black kids that just walk back and forth all day doing nothing, and that's the reason why they say the word mayate. It's true. I mean, they're just like a beetle that's flying around, making circles, doing nothing, just flying around all day, and that's what I saw them do in California. So I can't judge somebody that looks at that and says mayate because I get it. I really do get it. And I can't look at them either and say that they're the most sound people because they do a lot of stupid crap, you know? Like, loud music all the time. Just like you said in the video, the one thing I can't understand about Mexicans, seriously, is that you will take on black culture, everything, on down to the rims, on down to the cars, on down to the music that you listen to, the people, everything you emulate in your your thug life came from black culture, but yet you won't give reverence to it. And that part I don't get, you know, or other little things that I see, like the ones that just immediately want to white up, you know. And I talk to a lot of people, about different things. Like, I started learning about the sureños, the norteños, the paisanos, So I do know a lot about the culture and the gang life or whatever that I learned in Cali, and I didn't, all of it I didn't get. I mean, I don't understand why uh, you would be hanging around uh, with a bunch of Hell's Angels bikers to sell uh, what is it, meth or whatever, knowing that they racist and they can't stand anybody of any culture. So you would rather go and make a commitment with a racist person who's actually in support of you being ex, ex basically exterminated or exported from the country. If they had anything to say about it, you'll do business with them because they give you a couple dollars. I mean, to me, I didn't get that part. But anyway, that was the only thing. But like I said, he said some interesting points. Yeah, I think that black men should realize that there is a competition that's happening on every basis, and you shouldn't be mad at a Mexican because he's the one who revealed it to you. You should be looking like, oh, now I understand why white people are treating me the way that they're treating me. They're really competing against me. And that's the problem that black people have. They never knew it was a competition that was going on. They've been sitting here the whole while. If you go talk to any of them, they don't know it's a competition. They're like, competition about what? I ain't got shit. He got a fucking decent car, or maybe I do have something, but I wasn't competing against you to get this. Like most black people you talking, they're not trying. They're just doing. That's them on 10. That's natural. If they on 10, they naturally on 10. They're not really like most of them that I know ain't really like struggling to be that way. They just naturally go with the flow. And I do know a lot of Mexican people are really trying. They're not just naturally doing that. Because I've been over to Mexico and they don't work the same way that they work in the United States that they would in Mexico. Okay, so nobody gonna tell me that they just workaholics because that's a bunch of BS. I lived in Mexico for 7 years and basically I know. Okay, I'm married to a Mexican woman, so I know what's going on. Nobody's gonna tell me. I've been over in Mexico more than most of the Chicanos that are over there in the United States perpetrating like they Mexicans and only throw up the brown pride flag when it's time with their little Mafia 13 tattoos and all that bullshit that they kick. And the first thing they do is go out and marry a white woman. So I don't want to hear about that. Okay? They the same as black people. And if people realize, I mean, most Mexicans, I hear them throwing them around mayate and all that bullshit. But for real, when the slave trade was happening, just a little bit of knowledge. Mexico received more slaves than the United States, and that's something that most people don't know. And what happened to the slaves in Mexico? Well, the same thing that happened in Brazil. They were all integrated. So when you see these dark-skinned Mexicans and even the ones that lightened up, it's all in there. That blood ain't going nowhere. We already know what the deal is. Why do you think they can't get immigration? There's only several groups that can't do something. They won't let the Cubans in. That's because they got black blood. They won't let they won't let the Haitians in, and they won't let the Mexicans in. And them three they ham. Oh, and the Filipinos too. They're another one. Won't let them in. I mean, well they let the Filipinos in, but they can get it if they got money. But the Mexicans they don't want. I mean, come on. I mean, Mexican people aren't thinking about it. It's a reason. Why is it that everybody else can come in and out, in and out, in and out? You should know this. I mean, it's real. This whole thing. I mean, I get so sick and tired of this little like people trying to start a war between black people and Mexicans. There is no war. Like this dude said on the video, up top. Mexican people, I mean, black people are not even thinking about Mexican people. If Mexican people would really realize that, they would get a lot farther and be able to really make a stronger ally. The thing is, what we need to do is we need to stop this little family tiff that is being manipulated and created through media resources, through education and training. Yeah, it's being made. Okay, and beat the shit out the devil. That's what we need to do. We need to join forces and whoop the devil's ass. That's what needs to happen. But people ain't gonna do that. They're gonna sit right there and keep letting this stupid beef, these like I see these stupid cholos coming up with all these stupid tattoos everywhere, and I can't blame them. They see Little Wayne with all these dumb tattoos on his face, holding up blood and Crip signs and mafia, you know, a 18 and Salvatrucha and all that other crap and all these stupid gangs that are coming up. Ain't helping and benefiting nobody. They're not benefiting nobody. And the sad part is you're the ones that are dying. You're dying, not anybody else. How many white gangs are there? That's what I want to know. Like seriously, they're out there, but I'm talking about really mainstream where everybody is like, oh my goodness, da 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 da. They're so bad, they're evil, and they're the most heinous. They do the most heinous crimes and all this other stuff. I have watched Gangland, and all that, and all these different things. And I think out of the whole series, one gang did I see, one that was completely white. And no, actually, and I think they were integrated. It's television, people. It's entertainment. This is what it's supposed to do. Television, the TV, and the radio are all mind altering things. They are meant to hypnotize you to believe a certain thing. So if I don't want blacks and Mexicans talking, because guess what? They would naturally join together if I wasn't present. I have to do whatever it is to stop that and create a rift. And if you let them, they're going to have y'all killing each other and fighting like there's something wrong when there is nothing. And it's going to take years. It's going to be just like the Brazilians that were running back and forth, side to side, killing each other. You kill my father, I kill your father. You kill my cousin, I kill your cousin. Stop it. I mean, people just need to stop it. I mean, it's sheer foolishness. And I just hope that enough people view this video to really just begin to see it for what it is. You going over here and crossing out somebody else's letters, and they crossing out your, what kind of bullshit is that? I mean, you're a grown man. You can't think for yourself. I mean, like seriously, you're a grown man. Like you say you're a grown man, you pay your bills, I do this and da 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 da. And yet you sitting over here uh getting tattoos together, holding each other's hands. Come on, man. Oh, you got a 13 tattoo. I'm gonna get one on my left side because it'll match my your right side. Come on, man. I mean, like seriously. Like these are grown people. Like you're supposed to be a man. I just don't understand it. Everybody talks about they men and all that, and you prefer to be locked up in prison with a whole bunch of men. What kind of BS is that? I mean, we just need to realize that once people start realizing that this whole thing, the whole system, is created to hurt you. And I want to give a word of advice to the black people that are feeling threatened. The only Mexicans that you should be threatened by are the paisanos, because after they get to the second generation, they're so heavily integrated, they're not gonna do anything. I've watched it happen all over again. If you watch the father, the immigrant father that comes over here, he has a drive, he has a certain amount of intelligence, and he's doing things. He's working, working, working. The second generation, they just the same as black people out in the street. Don't want to do nothing, smoking weed all day, and running drugs and guns. So don't even worry about it. I wouldn't. I wouldn't care, because that's what is gonna happen. I already know that. Because why? It's mind control. It's meant to be that way. People don't get it. If I indoctrinate you, I set up school. Okay, first of all, I set up the school to indoctrinate you. I give you the religion to indoctrinate you. Okay. I mean, what more do you need? I give you the altruisms, as that's what they call altruisms, excuse me.